ساخته از what do you say از غرور از خواجگی او.
این شیخ این خیلی آدم با مزهی بوده.
سگ در آن شهر خاک پیراسته.
گر کسی پرسدت که دانش پاک زادمی خیزد آدمی از خاک.
Yeah, this is continues for the second line. If anyone, it seems to be a question, but I don't think it's treated as a question, but if someone asks you, how can it be that Danesh Pak as Adami Khizad, Adami as Khak? It can't be pure, very clean knowledge. Gu, in that case, say, if someone asks you this, Gu, Golab as Gol as Khar ast. Gu Golab as Gol as Khar ast. So I mean, something beautiful can come from something that looks very rough, khar. Nush dar mo remo redar mar ast. So nush, one meaning is antidote to poison. Padzat. And it comes from this little, supposedly there's a mohre in the head, and it will cure you. So here it's another example of something that is good that comes from something you would think is poisonous or bad, a snake.
مهره مار باز از اون چیزاییه که باورایی که مردم ایران دارن، یه کمی حالت خرافات سوپرستیشیس که میگن که میگن مثلا یارو وقتی میخوان بگن که یارو خیلی آدم عجیبیه یا مثلا میتونه خیلی کارا انجام بده به خاطر اینکه مهره مار داره. این مهره مار
like a snake.
این اونو داره. like a snake.
You need the blood of a virgin to cure yourself from HIV. And then they go around killing virgins. It doesn't make any difference. She wasn't really a virgin. It doesn't make a difference. Or Jahan Gush, no, but Jahan Kush. And we need a cushion. So we have the end of the first one, Jahan. Ku ta dagal nazani. So dagal is deception and don't practice. So ba jahan kush. In the world, make an effort not to be doing dagal. Khayme dad kam me ajjaha nazani. Don't set up your tent in the mouth of the serpent.
Serpent, yeah.
Du seti zaj deha nashai. Jaws. You shouldn't look for being friends with kaz deha al dani khord bedoros.
خورد به درست یا خورد باید بگیم؟ خورد به درست میشه بگیم؟ درسته میخورد. شما تو فارسی میگیم درسته خوردش.
Yeah, he eats with, you might say, completely.
آره درسته اینجا به معنی completely دقیقا. خورد به درست. آره.
گر سگی خود بود مو رکت پوش. If a dog is wearing this, like a khirke,
پوشینه
سگ دلی را کجا کند فراموش. Forget.
درسته.
دوستان
خیلی با مزه است اصلا نظامی اینجا.
Oft-tanned friends who nefaq usually means insincerity. It also has a link in its root to quarreling, but even if it's just hypocrisy or monafiqeen, the hypocrites. They don't really believe in me, the prophet. Munafiqeen has them. Tous ces temps ni que bon effort ouf tan. So they fall into nefaq. Dosh manon ro hamet nefaq ouf tan. But the idea should be that when you're amongst your friends, if you start having bad relations, then your enemies profit from this. They all get together. You get separated. So hametafak must be like one word almost. They become fall. Hametafak results unto your enemies. Chun magas bad siyah se
The black and white man.
Chazidan is to crawl all over things. When the flies crawl over black and white, Hadoro rang bad chalof razan. They stain colors.
Rang razi هم میگن.
To dye cloth. Hadora, both of them, both colors. Be kazin ra zanon.
Kenar
کنی. It's best that you stay apart from these highway robbers. Bad in char band Paul. This charred band is a kind of, I saw a footnote explaining this. It's something you can fold in 4 ways, and so it works as almost for containing things. But it's an image for the world, that it has 4 elements or 4 directions.
4 ستون هم میگیم ما. 4 ستون.
So here it's, you should break it up. Pare koni bar khod in 4 band.
بر خود این 4 بند پاره کنید. این 4 بند رو از تنت رها کنید. درسته.
And it's got a kind of, so maybe, I mean, the first half is don't hang around with Rak Zanon, but then even go a step further and in a way don't have anything to do with the world. Break up this char band. Parekoni. در چنین
دو رکاب
اهل دین کهل دین هستند. That even the people of religion are past their
این دور معنی هم زمانه است اینجا دیگه.
Yusufan Gorg and the Josephs are wolves, because normally the wolf ate Joseph. But now the Josephs are the wolves in this node in which we live. Zahedan, Mastan, they're all drunk. The Zahedans.
Good image.
Mastan. Natavon, board, John, Magal, the do cheese.
نتوان هم میتونی بخونیش اگه بخوای.
You can't win. To survive. John Borden. Yeah. You can't survive unless you are also compromised, doing wicked things. The badio, the bad pasandi needs. You're doing bad or you're approving of bad. Here we get this word in Arabic. Hasha. Hashallah, But I mean, in the Aruz, ha, sha,
لا
hash, ha, sha, lel,
La.
la. So the second lam has a tashdid on it. So that means that the first lam gets long because it's followed by two consonants. So you get ha, sha, lel, la, ke bandegan,
به خدا
Khoda, Khodai. So this is like God forbid that the servants of God, Allah forbid that the servants of God, in chonin band
بر
bad
نهند
bapoi,
بپای
that they put this kind of a chain
به این شیوه آره
on
این چنین.
their foot. That is by trying to save themselves, they also do bad things, but that's a terrible way to live your life. If you do that, you're putting chains on your feet. The bad
That
heel, the bad pasandi knees. In shanin band the hand. Boy.
از پی دو زخاتش انگیزند
Good.
نفس جویند و طلب را ریزند
There it's talc. Talc is wrong. Talc is what puts out fire. It's like in English we say talcum powder. It's the same word. And so these are people who are seeking naft. They're looking to cause fire. They're not people who want. So as peye do zach tesh en gizan.
گیزند
They stir up fire.
از ریشه آتش انگیزند آره از ریشه
Naft
دوزخ
juyan. They're looking to make the fire even worse by finding naft, and they're throwing away gizan talc. They pour it out. They don't use it to stop the fire. Chiz zetal fet ne ri zi repon arim
آریم یا آریم
arim chiz tal fet. So rise so that we can put our foot on top of fetne. Put fetne under our foot. Shart farman bari bejai ori.
آریم
So that the condition of obeying orders, that we put it in its proper place. Beh, chui, zar, yaoz, mandi, chan. Bechuye, rat, zar, seeking gold. Bechuye, beh. So this beh is a preposition, and so it's short, and this is an example of the sentence beginning with two shorts, because joy, beh, jo, e, zar, niyaz, man, di, chan. How long will neediness be looking for gold? Niyaz, man, you think you need it. Hafta kofli vachar bandi chan. This I don't fully understand, but haft koli is probably a reference to the aflaq, the seven,
هفت قفلی آره
and then the other one, the char bandi, is the world, the four directions or the four akhlaq. I don't understand fully how that makes sense, but
چهاربندی رو اینجا من تو ده خدا که نگاه کردم نوشته چندین معنی داره البته، ولی خب این چیزی که مربوط به ما میشه کنم اینه باید باشه. نوشته که ریسمانی یا تنابی که طفل نوآموز را که می‌خواهد سوارکاری بیاموزد بدان وسیله به اسب می‌بندند.
Well, it must have some other meaning that means the world, the metaphor for the world.
بعد اینجا یه شعری هم از نظامی آورده البته.
چاربندی.
آره نوشته چاربندی رسید پیکی چست. چاربندی رسید پیکی چست یعنی سریع راه 6 تاق 7 بند 7 گنبد جست. این هم مال نظامیه، به خاطر این میگم شاید منظورش همین باشه. اینجا نظامی هم اینجا هم یه شعری تو این زمینه گفته، هم چاربند استفاده کرده هم 7 گنبد.
I gotta press my nose against the screen. Resmond est best yeah. And Charbandi. Oh yeah. Charbandi رسید.
پیکی چست یعنی سریع، چست و چابک که میگن.
راه 6 تا گنبد
جست.
These are the way he plays with all these kind of.
آره این هم 7 گنبدی که خوندیم خودمون فکر کنم.
Gombat is probably also the spheres. But the shesh talk is an arch.
arch. توی ایران از این چاربندی ها زیاد هست.
There are ways of referring to something that has to do with the cosmos, the way it's constructed, like the aflaq or.
کلا این اصطلاح چاربندی تو ایران زیاد هست. تو بسیاری از مناطق همین زاگرس که میری از این ساختمان‌های کهن هست که 4 تا تاق داره، بهشون میگن چاربندی. این چاربندی بسیار نمونه‌ای
آره
4 تا داره. دقیقاً این چاربندی همون برداشت. من بسیار دیدم از اینا از نزدیک تو زاگرس.
But here in this Andaz, I suspect it's we're being told you shouldn't be running after gold. But جوی زر نیاز مندی چند. How long are you going to go on? Is this need going to look for gold? And then we have, and these two things, chand, how long? So kof, half kofri, locking up something with like treasures? Or charbandi. We had the charband a few lines earlier. We had charband parekoni. And that was this image of the world unfolded and sort of throw it away or destroy it. Don't live in order to please or succeed in the world. But have korio, charbandi chan. Unless, if the half koli represent the aflaq and the charband is the world, how long is it going to continue for? You know, at some point it's going to end. So how long are you going to be looking for gold when there is no world anymore? What's the value of gold?
من پیشنهاد میدم جان این قسمت خب هنوزم یه تیکه دیگه مونده، برای اینکه سر حوصله بخوایم بقیه‌شو بخونیم من میگم پیشنهاد میدم اینجا استاپ کنیم، میتونیم دفعه دیگه بقیه‌شو بخونیم، چون من یه مقاله مثلا یه چیزی خوندم در رابطه با همین چیز، گفتم شاید برای تو خوندنی باشه. این نامه از لندن در حکایت و شکایت زبان فارسی. آره اینم خودش. آره. درسته همونه. بعد اینجا یه آخرش من اینو خوندم اینجا یه تشبیه میکنه که در واقع تصویر سه فیلسوف نیچه، هایدگر، سارتر.
This is the title of one of Nietzsche's works.
آره.
Menschlich allzu menschlich.
بعد میگه که توضیح میده که در این قسمتی تلویزیون BBC کاریکاتورهایی از این سه فیلسوف در بالای عکس آنها به عنوان مشترک انسان و کلاً و صرفاً انسان که به عنوان کتابی از نیچه است این توضیح داده. بعد اینجا یه جمله از هایدگر آورده، این نوشته هایدگر و تشبیهش میکنی در واقع این خوندیش دیگه ها language is the house of being.
Heidegger is interesting.
آره بعد اینجا یه توضیح جالبی داده من این ترجمه فارسیش هم اینجا نوشته البته بعد اشاره میکنه به همین داستانی که ما داریم میخونیم بنگر از هرچه آفرید خدا تا از او جز سخن چه ماند به جای یادگاری که از آدمی زاده است سخن است آن دیگر همه باد است.
Heidegger often takes things that are very ordinary and makes a bigger philosophical question out of them. He has a short book, but maybe, I don't know, 100 pages, called Was ist ein Ding? What is a thing? And he goes on and on about all the things he can say. It's not naming specifically what, we call this a thing, that's a thing can't be this,
Everything,
that, you know.
could be anything.
And he examines this in a very thoughtful way.
این جرمنا اصلا تو این من اصلا الان اینجا وقتی اینو میخونم اینو خوندم اینا همه آلمانی هن دیگه که تو این دنیا هست یعنی آلمانی ها تو چقدر خوبن تو این چیزا واقعا مثلا همه هایدلبرگ یا خود نیچه.
Nietzsche is, as a stylist in his writing, is probably the best.
آره یعنی منظورم اینه که خب حالا یه سارتر هم اینجا هست ولی منظورم اینه که کلا آلمانی ها من خیلی کارشون رو یعنی
Sartre studied German philosophy, but he's complete. I find him as a sort of what I would call a soft thinker. Says, you know, Shalom, I find you are not really an authentic person, because you're not communist. You're not authentic. You don't care about people. I do.
And he even went to meet Che Guevara there in that place.
Yeah, he was almost wrong about every issue politically because he was, I mean, I don't know if he was, when he was younger, maybe he thought Stalin was okay, but I guess
For sure, yeah.
he got disillusioned at some point. Also, when I once worked on a Greek ship from Bombay to Romania, 40 days, the only book I had was by his girlfriend, this feminist, Simone de Beauvoir, a thing this fat, and it's about all of the grievances of women, prostitutes, we have to cook, we have to clean, we have to do this and this and this and this. I was in the Indian Ocean reading this thing, and when I didn't have to sit there and chop off the old paint, that's all you did all day. And it goes from the head of the ship to the end, and then it starts, then they paint it all, and then they start chipping it all off again. It's the eternal Sisyphus, the guy who carries water that leaks out. Yeah, we should stop here. We should prepare a little more.
آره این کار بکنیم یه شاید دفعه بعد پالم میتونم بکشونم اینجا چون دوست دارم خیلی دوست داشتم پالم اینجا باشه
We could show him the first 20 lines or so because they're about Sokhan, which I think is the most interesting.
آره این کارو خواهم کرد ولی خیلی دوست دارم با این حال دوست دارم دفعه دیگه اگه بشه این پال رو هم بکشونم اینجا که میدونی چون اون شیوهی که تو توضیح میدی به زبان انگلیسی براش خیلی کاری‌تر هم هست انگار یعنی کاربرد بهتری داره براش تا اینکه من بخوام به فارسی براش بگم نمیدونم میگم کوششش هم میکنم ولی همیشه احساس میکنم که الان یه مقداری چون حالش گرفته است زیاد دوست نداره خودشو قاطی این داستان
فقط راجع به کارش
در کل الان میدونی الان دوست داره بره فرانسه خیلی وقت دوست داره بره میشل هم از اونجا هر روز بهش میگه بیا اینه که یه مقداری باعث شده که کمی الان حالش گرفته باشه چون ماشینش هم داده تعمیرگاه همین مرسدس بنز رو که بزرگه رو هنوز به دستش نیومده اونطوری که میگه ممکنه فردا پس فردا تازه ولی گفتش که امروز دیگه آخر بعد از ظهر میخواد بره پیش مادرش دوباره از سوی دیگه به مادرش هم خیلی وابسته است بعد همش میره هر هفته میره پیشش کمکش میکنه خیلی خب خیلی دوست داشتنی هم هست نسبت به مادرش
خیلی حساسیه
آره خیلی براش حساس این مسئله درسته برای همین من همش کوشش میکنم که نه
like a ritual.
Okay, let's have a little bit.
Well, it's strong enough that we'll faint after we drink it.
درسته.
But if he اگه به فرانسه بره
آها.
تو با هم
من بهش گفتم که من تا زمانی که دومین واکسنمو نزنم نمیام. یعنی تازه باید یه مدتی هم بگذره بعدش یه هفته دو هفته بعدش.
واکسین
من واکسن نوبت دومم باید تو همین ماه باشه، آخرای همین ماه باشه. آره. برای همین من بهش گفتم اینا رو، ولی اون گفتش که اگه لازم باشه من اگه اونم همین موقع باید واکسنشو بزنه، ولی گفت من ممکنه بدون اینکه دومی رو بزنم برم یه سری برگردم، بعد میتونیم دفعه بعدش با هم بریم. این چیزی که خودش گفته، ولی بیشترش هم فکر میکنم برای میشل داره میره، چون میشل اونجا الان انگار خیلی حالش گرفته است یا هرچی مشکل داره، یعنی همش هر روز با پاول در تماسه. یکی دو بارم با هم بودیم با پال بودیم، یادم مثلا میشل زنگ زد میگفت که میشله، حوصله ندارم الان جوابشو بدم. معلومه که سختشه دیگه الان. برای اینه که من دوست دارم نه مزاحمش باشم، من دوست دارم خودش دوست داشته باشه بیاد که این کارو بکنه. دوستم داره ولی اینقدر سرش شلوغه که این مسئله تحت شعاع قرار گرفته. فکر میکنم امیدوارم همین باشه. ولی خب به هر حال پاول باشه یه امتیازات دیگه هم داره. من همیشه ستایشش میکنم، اینکه وقتی راجع به موضوعی باهاش صحبت میکنم همیشه حرف برای گفتن داریم. همیشه من یه چیزی میگم، بدبستون داریم دیگه با هم. من یه چیزی میگم، اون یه چیزی میگه. اینه که این رابطه رو من خیلی دوست دارم. این کسی که با دوستش بتونه آدم با دوستش یه چیزی ازش یاد بگیره، یه چیزی بهش یاد بده. این رابطه رو باهاش من دارم. برای همین این رابطه مفیدیه، رابطه خوبیه. هر دومون هم حالمون خوب میشه وقتی که با هم در مورد همه چیز، مشکلاتمون، در مورد زندگی، در مورد هر چیزی که وجود داره، از هر دری با هم سخن میگیم و همیشه خوشاینده باهاش صحبت کردم. برای جان، برای پال بیشتر شاید زبان مهم باشه، ولی برای من چیزهای دیگه در کنار زبان هم هستن دیگه که برام اهمیت داره. اینه که این رابطه رو دوست دارم. میگم پالم خیلی خوشقلبه، میدونی انسان خوبیه. من از این آدم‌ها زیاد تو زندگیم نبوده، به خاطر این دلم براش میسوزه.
به طور کلی خوبه، برای تماس میگیره با مردم.
درسته.
برای هلندی ها اینجوری معمولا اینجوری نیستن.
دقیقاً اصلا تیپیکال هلندی نیست. من همیشه بهش میگم تو اصلا هیچ شباهتی با هلندی ها نداری، ناراحت نشو، ولی take it as a compliment.
مثلا تو سوبس هر یکی از دوستایم که دیدنش خیلی دوستش داشتن.
آره.
چقدر
واقعا دوست داشتنی.
حرف میزنه که
درسته. من دوستان دیگه‌شان توی همون سوبس که نه سوبس، اون شهری که خودش هست زندگی میکنه، میرفتیم شهرهای کوچکتر با هم. بعد دوستان یه زوج هلندی، من اونجا دو خانم هلندی بودن، لزبیان بودن، یادم باشون صحبت میکردم، به من میگفتن که این پاول دوست چه انسان خوبیه. هر دوشون میگفتن، میدونی میخوام بگم اصلا جنبه سکسی هم نداشت، چون هر دوشون گی بودن، یعنی اصلا رابطه به اون مسئله از نظر انسانیت اونو انسان خوبی میگن، چون انسان خوبی هم هست، به همه کمک میکنه پاول. من اصلا وقتی که میشنوم چیزایی که بهم میگه، هلندی ها نمیدونم تیپیکال هلندی نیست، اصلا نیست. خب خودم البته هلندی، من خودم حتی زیاد هلندی نمیدونم.
بله خب استثناء خیلی فعالیت.
آره خیلی اکتیو هست. درسته.
She's made a video, when she was working on the telephones. She had so many stories, and she was mostly dealing with different ethnic people, because she said the other people were younger, and they knew that if they have to talk to some guy that's an old man from Morocco, they're going to have to find a translator, and it's going to take them 3 times longer. So they would pick someone with a Dutch name when they saw that. So she always called all the people that were being neglected. And then she heard all the stories, and she was trying to help them and all this.
Mhm.
So then, after finishing that work, she thought, I had all that experience, and she liked the people she worked with. She said these younger people were energetic and so on. A lot of them were people who just finished medical studies, but then they couldn't get a job because for the past year they're not hiring new people for training and so on. But anyway, so then she wrote, what have we learned from this? She made a little pamphlet about 8 pages, 10 pages. And this was based on interviews that she did with all these other people who phoned, not just her own ideas. And so she put it in different categories, ways it could be, we could cooperate better. And then she has this friend who's a Suriname black guy
Mhm.
who films stuff. I mean, he professionally works occasionally for TV, or he makes ads and things. So she's done some previous little films with him,
Mhm.
and she got him. He is now living in a housing development which is near Zeebrugge,
Zeebrugge.
and they have this huge place for kids to play with skateboards, and the kids are very mixed. They're white kids, Africans, Arabs.
Mhm.
So she made a video which is about 6 minutes or something, and it's these. First of all, you start by filming all these kids because they're the future, and they're all mixed in a nice way, as the future is going to have to be. And she has at certain points different physical types and age groups. They hold up these cards that say, we have to not be afraid of change in the future. We have to cooperate and learn from what has happened.
Interesting.
And so it's little messages like this in the hands of young kids and stuff, and
Interesting.
it's focused to some extent on what we went through in the last year for trying to give vaccinations and who gets them and who doesn't want them. And then this was put to music. So they have a Beatles song in the background, but it has a strong rhythm. I forget the name of the song, but the rhythm is paced with the kids holding the signs. On the big beats, the signs go down, a new sign comes out. So each kid has maybe 4 or 5 big cards, and then you go to other people, and in the meantime you see the kids skateboarding, and they
It looks, the inspiration maybe comes from, maybe she knows that too, or that Suriname guy, because we are in the film world. Because maybe you also saw that video clip from Bob Dylan.
She mentioned this, exactly.
So it's
yeah.
the same.
She said he was the first one to use these
like
this way. And there's a little bit of variation on that.
Mm-hmm.
And she today sent the text plus the video to this medical organization. Mm-hmm. She always uses these abbreviations. GGD.
Okay. GGD is a place where we go and have vaccine too. Okay.
And she knows the guy who's the head of this because he was also in the Labour Party when she was more politically involved. Ralphus.
Mm-hmm.
Strange name, and he's friendly with her, so, and she wanted them to see this as a certain, there was something like 200 people working on these phones. Mm-hmm. This was for Amsterdam and the outlying villages. Mm-hmm. There were other groups doing it for the rest of the country. So she was in one center which had about 30 people at a time working. And so she expected that those people that she had worked with would come to watch this on Zoom, mm-hmm. or would even be going to this. She hasn't told me how it worked out. But she was happy with doing this kind
Mhm.
of work. She likes having direct contact with different kinds of people.
Mhm.
And she has a lot of compassion. I mean, when people have a problem, there were times when she was coming home like an hour or 2 hours later because she said, well, I started to do one phone call and I got involved in all these things because it was a family. I wanted to call and get different members of the family to know that they should pay attention because their grandfathers, it was mostly older people who were getting ill, but other members of the family would have visited, and so she's calling everybody to tell them to be careful. Whereas she says the younger kids, if it's up at 6 o'clock, I'll call you back tomorrow.
But yeah, I mean, when we were also in Athens, she called me once because something happened in our street.
Oh yeah, she said
Yes.
that a building collapsed or
That's right.
something blew up.
No, it was people are working on the pipes there, and because the water. But suddenly they touch a gas pipe, and it was an explosion. But I wasn't there actually. When I came back to my street, I saw that the street was closed and police was there. Everyone were making pictures and everything.
But it had no effect on your
Journalists.
building.
No, but I mean, she called me and wanted to see me if I'm okay. You know, I mean, she is very generous. Yeah, I know that, and I told her you are a very nice human being. I mean, she's really nice. I like the way she behaves to people.
Yeah, she's often very busy because she takes on a lot of different kinds of work. She's always optimistic that she can do it all, but then she gets under pressure or feels. At the moment, her since she stopped with the phone calls, her rhythm is more balanced. I mean, for the two contracts she has now, one with the Ukraine, one with this part of India, which is in the mountains, and so she's almost every day, because she wants to do this properly. When the different teams in India are discussing together, she wants to be present. So even if she's not participating directly, she follows it to see what they say, so that she understands what may cause a problem. And it's complicated. There's a team of more privileged type Indians from Delhi. She says their English is very good. They all have degrees from university. And then the local people in this mountain place, they have bad roads. They don't have good clinics for people out in the countryside. And this is what they're supposed to improve. So when the two groups meet, the Delhi guys are like privileged people that are good talkers, and these local people are a little more shy and trying to be respectful. So she tries to get those people to speak up for what they really need and not be. And it's complicated because there are some political sides to it. And then the Ukrainians, she's dealing with a team of university people who are doing a study for the government on how we can improve the medical system. And their tradition under the Russians was that everybody goes to the hospital. You don't go to, if you have a bad cold, you want to go see an important doctor in the hospital instead of going to a local little doctor who can say, just take these pills and rest, and you don't. Whereas it's a waste to have the whole population going to the hospital. And but they don't have a tradition of what you might call a house doctor, or like the system is here. Everyone is assigned to a doctor, and that's the first person who deals with you. And if you do have something serious, he sends you to the hospital. They don't have this tradition in the Ukraine. So if you're a doctor, you are used to working in a hospital, and people who don't have anything very seriously wrong have to pay you a lot of money to just be told that your fever is not serious, you have a cold or something. And they don't like this idea that we're going to limit the number of people who go to the hospital and have to pay bigger amounts of money. And so she's trying to understand amongst the Ukrainians on the team what they really think. She doesn't want to say to them, once she said, as if it was just a conversational subject, well, Ukraine is really in the news with all these Russians that are gathering at the border, and then everyone went,
they're afraid, yeah.
Well, she's not sure what they think, or whether some of them have, there may be different opinions between them, and they don't want to get into arguments or talk about these things together. And then the Ukraine is a big country. It's the size of France.
Yeah.
It's about 40 million people, but it has Catholics towards the western part. They're very different from the Orthodox.
Yes.
And it's got the ethnic Russians on the east side. It has places like Odessa in the Black Sea, which is very cosmopolitan. A big Jewish population, Greek population, was merchants moved there from different places. So I can't see that a policy you make is good for everybody.
That's right.
There must be regional differences, but anyway.
Okay. But this book, if you ever